Hey guys, so hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Doing a little bit different type of video. This may be the first one I've ever done where I'm standing up. Usually sitting, a couple of them I squatted in. It don't fucking matter. The reason I just kind of wanted to make this one, other than just I've been enjoying making them. I want to talk about a few things. Smoking a good old Rolly today. Yeah, I had to. I don't know if you guys know this or anything. So I record this on iPad, right? And I always upload it through there. I don't edit these videos or anything. I'll upload to YouTube through the iPad. Then I'll delete the video just entirely off the iPad, right? Well, you'll run out of memory. This happened on my phone first. My very first couple videos was on the phone. I swapped to this. Yeah, you'll be like taking up that memory, then you delete it off your camera roll or whatever, then you're good, right? But the YouTube app, it gets where it's like, I think I had deleted last night, is at like 6 gigs or something like that. You delete it, then you re-download it, and it doesn't take up all that space anymore. So if you guys are running out of space on your shit, just check that. Excuse me, just delete the YouTube app and reinstall it. So anyways, everybody may already know that. It may be the other one, whatever. But anyways, I was able to free up a lot more space and shit by doing that. So this here was a corn crib, right? It actually stayed really dry. It's in really good shape. Here's some noises. I got the chickens walking around down here below me. I just got up underneath it and finished cleaning out all the wood and stuff out from underneath it. Had that, some old tins, stuff like that. Back in the spring, this thing was sitting on these old cedar logs. Yeah, here's one. Let me see if I can not spill my monster. Kind of show you guys. This one ain't even the roughest one. So here's what it was sitting on, right? There's the top. But you can tell his bottom's rotted like that. So with these here, this whole motherfucker was going like that. So jacked it up, put cinder blocks, bricks, and I don't think we had to use any wood pieces. I'm gonna get a few wedges, just make sure it's all tight here sometime though. And did that. We done 6. I say this thing here, it's probably about 16 foot long, roughly. And anyways, I done 3 one side, 3 the other. Now I was finished cleaning out from underneath the bottom of it though, because we're gonna go and put some like cinder blocks and stuff throughout the middle as well. What they done was just that old style where on like the floor joist, just nailing a board. It's kind of touching the ground. It's cold as fuck, so out here today it's around freezing, depending on if you're in America or whatever, like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. Anyways, so hear me snot a lot, apologize. But anyways, some of them were touching the ground, some of them wasn't. I mean, it don't really do much other than kind of fuck up your floorboards, right? Catch it, worst case scenario. Well, it's all like hardwood on the inside and stuff. It's really nice. A good section of it from about roughly about here, I don't know if you can even see, over this way, which is probably a good, I'll just be estimating about 8 foot, right? And what I did for insulation in it was at Harbor Freight. If you guys have any of that where you're at, we got one about an hour away. You get the moving blankets cheap sometimes on the deals they run. They use that for insulation. After I put Tyvek on the inside just to kind of keep, excuse me, anything from going into it. And then I put those moving blankets for like insulation. I put a ceiling in there because it did just have this right here where we go in, but I got a ceiling up there now just stapled all that shit. Or if you got them cap nails, you can do that. And I've got my drums in there, right? Because we're turning this into a recording studio, as crazy as it sounds. Maybe thinking, why the fuck did I put the Tyvek on the inside? Well, again, just did it. Keep some critters and shit out for the moving blankets. It's not a good idea. You live and you learn, though, right? Because, like right here, for example, you can see it. Well, whenever I was going and, because I went and re-screwed all the boards in because they were just nailed in and sometimes they were kind of popping out a little bit. So I went and put screws in everything over the summer. Well, then you get all, I ain't gonna reach back there too far, but you get wasps, dirt daubers and stuff getting in behind, right? And because of that, they can kind of eat through this over time and so on and so forth, right? But I'm just gonna leave it as is. What I'm gonna do though, is because originally I was just gonna paint this and be done. But that was before I ever thought about actually turning it into a recording studio. I just wanted my drums in there, so I have a place to play, right? And it didn't soundproof it, but it kind of dampened it a little bit, so it's not super loud. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all this black. You can see up there, it's still decent shape, but I've got like a shitload of barn paint. I'm repaint it all black, and then I'm going to put the vapor barrier, Tyvek, whatever you want to call it, around it. And then I'm going to put some used tin I've got on the sides here, right? And then I'm going to go and up here up top, it's just goes straight in with the rafters. So I'm going to do build like a board around here, that way it kind of seals it up and everything. And then one to kind of go up there as well. And I've actually got, all right, let me just grab it. I mentioned this in my last video. If y'all go tear shit down or get scraps, you can make do with stuff, right? This right here, it's going to require a lot of work. This here was used for like handrails. Well, not handrails, but technically handrails, I guess, on a porch, right? Went over the 2x4 here. And then up here, I'm going to take these, run these along, right? After I straighten them out. I ain't going to put it on the bottom. I'm just going to put a board, something down there. Run these along there. That way it's going to be, I don't know if y'all can see, down below the pin, kind of acts as like a splash guard as well, right? Because it also helps seal it up. Because I'm thinking, and I'm not entirely for sure, I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to build a lean-to to this, or a lean-to to my barn, which is back there. The reason being is I've got, it's one of the barns, got like a middle part, but it's just got like a little door you got to go through. Basically, you can't keep shit in there other than some small stuff, right? Because it's hard to waller stuff in and out. Well, I'm going to put like doors and windows, stuff like that in there, right? And the reason I don't really want to build a lean-to to the barn is because, first of all, it's higher than this one is, right? So I would have to run it at a little bit more of a pitch. And the way that the land kind of lays there, if I ran it so far out, I'm talking about 16-foot piece of tin, I've got a bunch of that used, I'd have to run it further out, and because it's higher, it'd be at more of a pitch, because I don't want to use a shitload of it, because I got a cabin to build, I've got a roof to put on a trailer, I've got side to put on a trailer, side to put on this, and a shed to build. So anyways, I'm trying to use as little tin as possible. We'll try to ration it out, right? And also something else that I'm gonna have to use a shitload. I'm not gonna have enough as is, right? So unless something else happens, I mean, you never know. So I may do it from this. What I would do is after I put a board down here on the bottom, I may have to put two. They stick out pretty far. And then I would run that 10 there, screwed into the ends of these. Then I would I would do the same thing to the barn. The barn's built the same way. But this here, I'd be able to run it out a little bit further. Because the way that the land lays is, I believe, I'd have to get a measuring tape out, but I believe that I can run it over to here, and right just over here, essentially, it's got like a little hump, right? So that's gonna work as kind of like a drain, and then this hump, it goes here, and then it goes away the fuck on over the hill. And because the way that it stands now, if it does rain a lot, it's got its own like little French drain style thing, kind of just naturally built here, but it will go up underneath, right? And especially once I seal up the bottom and everything like that, which I'll have to put a vent on the bottom, put a vent up in the attic of this, and I want to put some type of vapor barrier or something underneath just in case, because I am going to put some form of heat and some form of air in here, because I'm going to be running some electric from my house. I'm just going to run it off that instead of having a whole new meter and stuff, because I do have a 200 amp in my house breaker box, so I should be able to run it out here. I've heard some stories about if you run it too far, if you're pulling too much power, it can throw breakers. I'm going to try it though. Worst case scenario, I'll get this place its own thing. Hopefully, for running speakers and amps and shit like that, it's not going to be like suck too much power, right? So we're just going to see. But anyways, I should be able to get the tin out here for enough for it to get all the water away from it, so that would help stabilize this anyways. And what I would build the lean-to for, I mean, you can't see, but I've got tractor implements here. I've got like bush hog, plow, grader blade, boom pole here. That I also pull like stuff I use like during the summer or something a lot of times, right? Like lawnmower and shit like that stuff here as well, because I've got to get this shit out of my barn, because there's stacks. I'm setting this on a giant stack of like used lumber. I've got used tin and lumber, which I've got a different place for the tin. I need to take that down soon. I don't know if it'll be today. That's the original plan, but I don't know. And then well, hell, this place is surrounded by it because I just pulled lumber out from everywhere. And then there for a while, I was in a rush, so I was just dumping off tin and used lumber here, because we got a mobile home or trailer we're going to be setting up for someone to rent. But to be able to move it, it had its own roof and porch built onto it, so got a lot of lumber for that. And then also this thing here, it's probably about a good foot up off the ground, and there's a bunch of lumber that was underneath it. Some of the stuff that was on the bottom is rotted out, it ain't good. But there's some pretty decent oak boards and stuff here and there though. So anyways, the point is I'm out of room in my wood area of the barn. Now in the other area is where I keep the tractor side by side, and I moved the tiller to there. I'm going to end up moving the lawnmower and four-wheeler over there for the time being, but that's going to kind of take up the spot that because I do have it open for my donkey to get in and out of the weather and stuff. So I've got to make sure he's got his room and stuff too. But there's some big ass rocks in there. So I bought a sledgehammer. I'm gonna have to beat those out first, right? So it's just a big pain ass. Point is, with all this lumber and stuff we've got, I'm out of fucking room. And I need a place to kind of keep all my implements and stuff here safe. And also, you know, be able to pull like lawnmower, four-wheeler, shit like that here. And then maybe just keep the tractor, and then donkey can have his place there. Or what I would do is I would seal up that side of the barn, keep all the implements there, and then just build the donkey like a little lean-to for himself. That's most likely going to be where I go. The reason being is because over here, because I'm doing all the tin and stuff on this, it's just going to make it a little bit more complicated. Whereas there, I could just basically do, I'm going to 2x2 would be great, honestly. Just run it along the like rafters of the barn, and then he wouldn't have to have too much of space, but I wouldn't have to build it as long. Like if I'd done it here, I'd run it the whole length of the thing, I would think. If I'd done it on the barn, I would just run it just enough for him to kind of have him a area where it would be a little bit smaller. Throw a bunch of, well, he'd eat the hay out of it, but you know, do some stuff. Maybe put some tin siding on it, and like what we did with for the dog house and stuff. We put some like moving blankets and stuff, and that way it kind of insulates it a little bit for them. Now that I'm sitting here talking about that, maybe what I do, I don't know. I've never built a lean-to. I can't imagine it's going to be harder than building some other shit, but and also we're in here playing drums, you know, or we have like bass amps, shit like that running, and it's going to be thumping a little bit, so I don't know how that would affect, you know, shifting and moving some things around that I've got over here. Now that I'm sitting here kind of talking it out, just well, to myself, to the camera, the barn's seeming like a better idea. If anybody watches this, ever built like a lean-to, kind of like an add-on and everything, have any suggestions? Do I sound like I'm going about this right? Things I talked about in the last video are things that I have done, at least a little bit. I don't always do everything right. Again, Tyvek the inside. Of course, plans changed with that, but if anybody watches this and you've got any experience with this, just comment, let me know. Do plan on going to town tomorrow, if at all possible. May pick up another pack of cigarettes or something, probably another cheap pack. Doing a cigarette video for that, and here's sometime soon. Like I say, I've been planning it out. I'm going to do like the cheapest way that you can get started rolling your own cigarettes, and kind of do like what I bought, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you should be able to get everything set up for $15–20. We'll just say that. We'll check and see. And yeah, just kind of go from there. Which honestly, that's the price of 2 good packs of cigarettes, right? It's not that bad. Save a lot of money, but it's like anything else. I know some people, they'll bring all their rolling stuff with them. Whenever I used to work at the pizza place, there's like 2 or 3 old women and everything. They'd had their like Tupperware set with all their rolling baggers. Like, all right, smoke break time, load it up. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and smoke one and stuff. Of course, me, I would just roll all of mine before I went in anywhere, you know. But anyways, hopefully the audio's okay on this. I've been looking at some of those little microphone clip-on things. I need to get into like editing some of these videos and shit, but we'll see. And I'll also give like some of my recommendations for the rolling your own and stuff. I'm going to be picking that up within my 10 pile. So I feel like I know quite a bit about rolling your own cigarettes and stuff, as opposed to just kind of buying. But yeah, and also I'm just moving around a lot because I'm freezing. So I'm going to smoke this real quick and go on in and call it a day for now. I mean, on this job anyways. And we'll see what I get into this evening. Then make another video later. But anyways, I do expect some type of cigarette content going to be coming out soon. That's honestly become some of my favorite shit to make. So just because all the comments on those videos and stuff are super fucking nice. Like, it's really cool. It's really cool talking to you guys and some of the comments and shit. So, but anyways, have a good one.